I think they have to understand on a long-term vision. It's not about the annual budget that you do. It's also very important.
For what the world is coming, or are they still producing our graduates to what the world has left behind?
It doesn't matter whether you are a knowledge worker or a just a skilled worker. Those jobs will be taken off. What you have to understand is AI or these new tools, the technology, the AI will not take your jobs away.
What's the major mistakes our politicians make about innovation?
I think since you brought the idea of politicians, I would say it's politicians plus our bureaucracy, right? Because the politicians come and go,
Yeah.
but bureaucrats usually stay longer.
Yeah.
So I think
Why do they lack vision?
Yeah, I think one of the things we need to understand, the bureaucrats, I'm talking about the top bureaucrats, secretaries to all that. I think they have to understand on a long-term vision. It's not about the annual budget that you do. It's also very important. It's not a check and balances only. For example, now if your budget talks about building a bridge in the country, say 100 million rupees,
Yeah.
after you spend that 100 million rupees, you will end up with a bridge. At least you can say.
Yeah.
I mean, you have other
You got
corruption,
something
all
else.
this, but there's something tangible at the end.
Yeah.
But building a entrepreneurship platform, building entrepreneurs, building innovators is not something tangible at the end of the day. Say you have a budget for 100 million rupees, you create 100 entrepreneurs, 100 innovators, all that. There may not be a tangible output at the end of the cycle, 1 year or 2 year period. But this is where you need to have that very enterprising way of thinking in Sri Lankan politicians as well as the bureaucrats. I mean, globally it has been done. There are indicators, there are check and balances to do that. But you have to put that money behind as a government to build entrepreneurs, build innovators, build the IPs in Sri Lanka, build businesses in Sri Lanka.
So is artificial intelligence, AI, the biggest opportunity Sri Lanka has been, let's say, since the garment industry?
I think if I go back to the history, we lost 3 industrial revolutions, starting from the 19th century, the transportation industrial revolution, then early 20th century, the electricity and the all that comes as the second industrial, and then 1970s we had the computers and internet. Now we are in the 4th industrial revolution, which is IoT and AI. So we are in of course it's already come to a certain maturity level now. So we can't miss this now. So we missed 3, we can't miss this one.
We just can't miss this
We just can't miss this one because in a way, what you have to understand is sometimes it's good that we miss some of the industrial revolution. For example, the earliest stage, which brought in so much of big factories to various parts of the world that brought in a lot of pollution, all that. So I think missing that is actually
It's not all bad.
It's not all bad, yes. But I think this AI and this new industrial revolution is something that has, I mean, if you can get in there as our first revolution, I think we are in the right time. So,
which jobs in Sri Lanka do you think AI will replace over the next 5 years?
So it's, I mean, again, going back to that industrial revolution, when the second industrial revolution came, a lot of people thought that you will lose a lot of jobs. But I think what happened is, it's not that you are losing jobs, you transform from one
skill to
another. So it's similar here. So if anybody who is doing very repetitive kind of work, whether it doesn't matter whether you are a knowledge worker or a just a skilled worker, those jobs will be taken off. For example, even if you are a lawyer, right, you are doing the same thing all over again. I mean, AI can do it now.
Right.
But if you are one step ahead, and you have to think a bit of your cognitive skill and all that in what you are doing, your job will not be replaced by AI, because AI, to get into that level, takes a longer time. So same with even medical doctors. I mean, we are talking about experts in that field. But if you are doing the same repetitive thing, like ask from a couple of questions and writing down the same prescription, that thing AI can do in the future.
So Here's another question. It's quite controversial usually, and I have at least one principal of a school who is not quite comfortable giving me an interview about it. But the question is this: are our universities producing enough of graduates for what the world is coming, or are they still producing our graduates to what the world has left behind?
Unfortunately, it is the latter. So I think, I mean, this was not the case maybe 10, 15 years ago. So, for example, if you start, say, undergraduate getting into the university, and he's leaving the university 5 years later, industry might not change too much, say 10, 15 years ago. But now, within that 5 years, the industry is changing
I see.
because of AI.
Okay.
So the curriculum that the undergraduate enters will change during that 3 to 4 years period itself.
So, should every child, school child, now be learning AI alongside maths and English?
I think it's a controversial topic. So what you have to understand is what you should learn at the school level and even maybe in the university is always focus on the fundamental sciences. Fundamentals, not only science but arts and everything, the fundamentals. So that's
a must.
That's a must. So you can't go straight away into AI. So you have to focus on the fundamentals. I mean, if you talk about the science is the chemistry, physics, and botany, that's the fundamental, and mathematics. Of course, if you go to arts, accounting, other things, you have to learn the fundamentals. But then what you have to understand is AI or these new tools, the technology, the AI will not take your jobs away. But somebody who use AI better will take your job. So that is where the trick is. So you have to learn these tools. So you can't get away. I mean, if the globally people, the students are learning AI tools, we have to learn as well. Because the more you be knowing these tools better, there's a better chance that you can do it better in your profession as well. So I think that's where you have to understand. But all that has to be, the foundation is the fundamental knowledge and know-how.
Finally, last question. If you had to build one company from scratch today in Sri Lanka, what would that company be?
I think that company has to have the intrinsic value coming from Sri Lanka, which itself will bring that competitive advantage. And of course, you build IPs on top of that.
Yeah.
And not just one IP, number of IPs. So that's what I feel people should be doing. And I mean, I will bring that same example. Sri Lanka has so much of natural resources when it comes to the plants, to endemic plants, to, and also we have this 5,000-year-old our knowledge and know-how that comes from the Sri Lankan Hela Vedakama to Ayurveda. That so if somebody can build something on top of that, nobody can compete with us because we have our own advantage. But then it's about repetitive creation of IPs. It's not about one IP, repetitive creation of IP. And eventually, people will know this is something that you can't copy. This is an in-house powerhouse that Sri Lanka has. And then people will collaborate with us. So the global companies won't be able to copy and take it out of Sri Lanka. They will think, okay, Sri Lanka has regenerating IPs based out of our natural resources. So we have to create that. And then we become a global powerhouse of healthcare to health industry. I think that's what can change entire Sri Lanka.
Last and final question on corporate Sri Lanka for you, Mr. Jayaweera, is the future is digital, of course, but is that digital future bright?
So I think the Sri Lankan, I mentioned the Sri Lankan talent is up there. I mean, we are world class. So I think it's just that we haven't really got the other ecosystem support to get it into more innovation mindset. So I think we have the talent. Individually, we have the talent, but we don't have the other parts and pieces to take it to the next level, create innovators, create entrepreneurs. So regulation is one issue, the cultural impact is one issue, the way we have been wired is a different. So I think we have to change that. And I think one of the things that Trace has been doing all this time, a lot of effort goes for lobbying the government on change in the innovation ecosystem and some of the regulations that we need to change. We need to change it really fast. We can't go in the old bureaucratic way of taking so many years to do it. So I think the digital future, to answer your question, is very bright, but then we have to act really fast and bring those regulations really fast and support not just the government. The academia has to get in there, government has to get in there, even the industry. That's the triple helix or the golden triangle has to work together. And Trace is all about the connector in the middle, and we want to make sure that we connect these three together and achieve what the country should in the next 10 to 15 years. I think the time is right. The digital future is the right time, but we have to get into the bus really fast.
Pretty fast.
Pretty fast, yes.
Mr. Jayaweera, thank you very much for being on Corporate Sri Lanka Newsline, The Turning Point. Thank you.
Thank you, Faraz.
And as always, that's the way it was. Take care and God bless you all.